We're from the town with the great football team. We cheer the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Hey guys, welcome to Picksburgh, and I appreciate you joining me for the debut episode of Pickin Brains. With me today, we got my man, Nate Dizzy, better known as Everyday Im Hustlin. You think I just lost my monetization? Or do you think we're good?
I think we're good.
So what you're saying is my musical prowess happens to be...
Just a little, but it wasn't too bad, I guess.
For those of you guys that don't know, if you're new to the channel, Nate and myself, we hosted a morning show called Ecom and Beyond for over a year. Down on my playlist, you'll see show. You'll also see a link down below to Nate's channel, and you'll see plenty of those episodes on there as well. And our friend, Mr. was basically a mascot of our morning show.
Yeah, it was like the third person on our Ecom show.
Exactly. He was like the person that everyone wanted to talk about. They were like, yeah, it's cool that Nate and Anthony are here, but what we really want to talk about is Nate was somebody that I definitely wanted to have on for the very first podcast because he and I have been basically YouTube married for the better part of both of our YouTube careers. Just because we've been tied up with shows we've done, and we've collaborated with business ideas and different stuff like that. So Nate's definitely somebody that I wanted to broadcast to the community, and I want to suggest anybody that watches this or anybody that is subscribed to my channel, if you're not subscribed to Nate, make sure you do so, because he and I also do a show on his channel, and it's really awesome. We talk about sports cards, we talk about reselling at times, we talk about all kinds of really cool current events. So make sure you check out his channel, because there's going to be plenty of awesome content dropping. Nate, before we even get started, you going to just kind of give people a rundown of who you are and why your beard's so awesome?
Well, my name's Nate, Everyday Im Hustlin. I resell, I do sports cards, and I work a 9 to 5, and I sprinkle a little bit of eBay and Amazon on top of that. So just a bunch of different things that, I do to basically make money on the side and do good for my family and things like that.
One thing that I really get from Nate is just like the hustle bug. I get motivated being around you, because not only do you work like 40 to 50 hours a week, you have a family with multiple children, you have a dog, you have a wife, and you make time to have a reselling business and a successful YouTube channel on top of it. How do you jumble everything, man? Like, how do you keep things straight and get success with what you're doing?
Trying to do what is necessary right away. You know what I mean? Like, if it's with the kids, the business, I just try to pick whatever is necessary, has to be attended to, and I just try to rotate. And it's definitely, crazy for sure, especially when Amazon's rolling with me and merch fulfill.
Yeah, definitely. I remember during the beginning of the pandemic, it got to be a bit much, even for me, because I'm not as big of an Amazon seller as you are, but man, it was insane. Like, we could literally pack 24 hours a day because the sales are rolling in so much. Now, with you working as much as you do and having a family, do you ever get overwhelmed having to juggle all that?
Oh yeah, for sure. I had a burnout. Like, during the show, I talked about it and stuff. It got to the point where it wasn't fun. You know what I mean? I like making the money. I like expanding the business. I like having success. But at the same time, I'm damaging like me. You know what I mean? Which, if it kills me, it kills my hustle. So I had to take a step back and kind of just enjoy what I, accomplished and stuff like that. So
yeah, you were making some like pretty big numbers too, like all-time highs for yourself at that time, weren't you?
Yeah, it was like what was it, 20,000, I think, for a month, I think it was, or something like that. It was like one of my best months, and I was like, I can't believe it. This is during the pandemic, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing well, and
yeah,
it was an amazing ride. And after it was all said and done, and I did take a break and kind of reap the rewards of how that was. I got to really enjoy life and stuff a little bit more with the kids. So it was great.
Now, have you implemented anything in your life to prevent that burnout from happening again?
Yeah, I started playing video games and collecting cards. It was definitely something where it's kind of business related, but at the same time it's fun because I like the sports and stuff like that. So really, like, you know, with collecting cards, you can move less cards, less transactions, but make the same type of money if you have it at a great scale and you had picked up some great cards. So that's what really excited me about the card market.
Definitely. What would you say has been your best pickup or best flip so far?
Definitely the Lucas. You know what I mean? That was the biggest ROI, you know what I mean? And my first like super score, you know what I mean? It was almost like opening a Zion out of the pack. You know, that was the best way to describe it. So like getting the cards, buying them good, and then selling them for peak prices like I did with the one, you know what I mean? It was like a double like score, you know what I mean? Because now I could buy more cards. So it was like,
definitely.
Yeah, just like kind of like everything I do, I kind of try to snowball things like with business and with the cards.
Do you see cards becoming a bigger part of your business moving forward in the future?
Yeah, it's probably going to be 50-50 at some point. Like I definitely want to grow Amazon, eBay a little bit more, which I kind of hit the brakes on that recently and went more like heavy on the sports cards. As like the seasons are coming around, like basketball's about to come around, like these cards are now currency. You know what I mean? Especially the graded stuff, and they're going to spike again, you know, like just like how, well, maybe not as crazy it was last year, but pretty close, I would say, because of how the NBA draft and stuff is. But, you know, I mean, that's going to just become another cycle where I'm buying cards, I'm selling cards, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Now that I'm kind of more immersed into it, I'm finding that the deals in basketball right now are just insane. And now I'm selling off a lot of the football that I just kind of had sitting around, and that stuff's now starting to fly out. Not quite like the basketball was, but much better than to be expected. So right now what my strategy has been mainly is I'm buying up as much basketball as I can. I'm ripping or just selling off retail football stuff as much as I can right now. And I'm not really looking to buy any football stuff until football season's over, unless I can find something like super low or on the cheap.
With football, like I grabbed a couple quarterbacks, and they're the younger variation, Josh Allen and Daniel Jones. Josh Allen was definitely a hit so far. Kind of the same thing like when basketball's like right now, you know what I mean? Like I'm picking up some of those other rookies and LeBrons and stuff like that. I kind of did that with football. So it's just a cycle, you know what I mean? You buy one, you know, that's basically like they're on clearance for us for like reselling. So it's so many deals that are going to spike again. You know what I mean? It just needs a season to come back around.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm waiting on, man. Like you should see the cards I've been picking up lately. It's been amazing, the deals I've been finding. Like I just got a Vince Carter PSA 9 Topps rookie for like $40. And then I was like, well, since I'm paying shipping on that one, I always like to go check out the seller's store to see if they have anything else like on the low. He had I think it was like a Topps Finest rookie of Tracy McGrady. I just sent him like a $10 offer because I was already getting the Vince Carter. So I was like, heck, I'll take the 2 Toronto Hall of Famers, you know, on the low, just because it's the off season.
Right.
They were both graded 9s too. That's the best part about it.
Oh, they're graded too? Yeah, that was definitely a good deal. I do that too. Like if I bought something at work, I'll wait till I come home so I can use my Rakuten and stuff to save money. And right before I pay, like I'll come in from work, come down here, pay, or about to pay, I'll look at their store just like you said. And I've done that on a couple of Shaq cards that I bought. I've been buying some out of prints or inserts and stuff from back then. So
nice.
I just did that recently as well. But I definitely do that because with some stuff, like the cards would be really cool and they're definitely valuable, but the shipping always like hurts your potential profit and stuff like that. So but it definitely makes it really nice to do that and bundle up.
I always like to take advantage of that with cards, especially because like adding another card's literally like adding nothing weight wise. You know, you might be at like an ounce per card if you're lucky.
Right. Yeah. I mean, definitely with the slabs and stuff, they're all way out, like under 4 ounces. So a lot of room to add different stuff or even a couple slabs. You probably ship out, I would think, like 3 or 4 slabs and still be in probably.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. I always try to, if I'm putting it in as a seller on eBay, like say I'm going to sell a card, I'll normally put at least 3 ounces if it's like one card. Or if it's like a slab, sometimes I'll even put up to 6 ounces just to give myself the wiggle room.
Yeah, if it's one of your bigger cards and stuff like that, you can do that with the little extra to pay for your insurance and stuff like that for the shipping too. So it'll cover that as well.
What would you say is like on your to-do list as far as growing your business with cards? Like, are you looking to get more into picking up retail? Or are you looking to, just continue to buy raw, grade, and flip? Because you did say that you wanted to try to make cards like 50% of your business moving forward. I was just wondering, did you have any kind of idea or structure of how to do that?
It's probably going to be, well, I mean, it just depends on the retail too. So I hope it to be like 50-50. You know what I mean? Like, and it also depends on the draft class as well. Like if it's down a little bit like this year, you know what I mean? I might not buy as much like the breaks or just raw. I'll just hold on to the packs or sell the packs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And kind of like with the Chronicles and Illusions, I would have done that with those cards. Like I would just sell those as is, you know what I mean? Sealed on eBay and just kind of make the flip or whatever.
I've noticed this. There's definitely some cards that you open up and they just don't hold their value at all. Especially like, for example, Absolute. I pulled a Joe Burrow and I was like, oh, nice. I'm going to throw that up on eBay. That should pay for my blaster right there. But you'd be surprised it didn't cover the $20. You know what I mean? And it's because it's a lower end rookie.
I had Mahomes, I think it was his second year, and it was a silver of Absolute. And I had it for $100. I'm seeing other ones sell for even more. And I'm like, why is this isn't selling? Then I got a low ball offer like $30 for it. I was like, nah, I'll just keep it. It has one like little flaw in it. That's the only reason why it's not like probably super money.
But yeah, sets definitely do make a difference when it comes to sports cards. That's definitely something that I've learned. Whenever I was a kid getting into sports cards, like, because I was a huge sports cards nut as a kid. And I got out of it, whenever I got into high school. I ended up selling off my stuff to get video games and stuff. But sets weren't as big of a thing back then because there were only a couple. But now it's like, while there's like basically Panini running the game for football and basketball, they have like a gajillion sets that they release, like subsets of Panini products. So, it's hard to know what the best ones to get are, especially whenever you say, oh, wow, I can get this Joe Burrow for like $10 right now. When meanwhile, other ones are like $100+ in certain sets or whatnot, or variations. So that's something that I had to find out, especially when buying and ripping a lot of retail product. You can come up with a lot of low end junk. For example, like if you were to buy and rip a whole lot of Score football like we both did, you know what I mean? You're not getting a whole lot of value out of that. Buying retail, will you make enough to make your money back out of it? Sure. Will you be able to make a cool video out of it? Sure. You know what I mean? But you're not going to be getting rich off of products like Score football. But in the next coming days or week or however long it's going to be when Prism football comes out, and we all know Prism's king, that's like the set to get. And, football, basketball, soccer, a lot of the major sports, Prism is the king. So that'll be coming out shortly. Now I will gladly pick up and rip, as much of that as possible, because I know that's going to be an easy way to, make a lot of my money back.
Yeah, definitely. Like that's definitely like the set that you want some of the key rookies in. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like where we got the Lucas and stuff. You know what I mean? Those are the ones that are the most highly collectible. And then even look back to like, the vintage stuff, like the 90s stuff, like the Topps Chrome and all that is like still king. So, you know what I mean? You basically just follow the guidelines of what it was king back then and what's king now, and just keep kind of following it. Even though like some of the Revolution stuff, like I really like that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that stuff is just not getting any type of love, but that might come up a little bit just because of pop reports and stuff. So it just depends.
Originally, when I first started recollecting again and I got serious about it, Revolution was like my favorite set out there. And I'm like, man, why is it not as held up in as high esteem? And that's when I realized like Prism is the big boy in this, Prism's like the PSA of, sports cards right now. I would say Prism is PSA, and then I'd say maybe Optic is BGS, and then, Select is SGC. In my opinion, at least. Like I look at those three sets like the top three grading companies. If you don't have a rookie in one of those three sets in the years that those sets were released, you don't have the rookie, unless you have like a National Treasures or something like insane. But I think most people, when you think of the Luka Doncic rookie, you're thinking of the Prism rookie. You know what I mean? Like Prism is just where most people go to past 2012.
Yeah, that's just what's, you know, accepted by the community, you know, as a whole, and for collectors and everything. So, I mean, basically the collectors market picks which one it likes most, and that's basically it for the most part.
Let me ask you a question, because I know that you're, you know, a big time sniper when it comes to eBay and everything like that. Now, when you get priced out of an item, like for example, Luka's Prism right now, like a lot of people are priced out of it. I mean, some people might have the money to go and drop on that Prism, but most people are priced out of it right now. Like, so when you get priced out of a card, how do you normally go about that? Do you go for a second year? Do you go for a lower subset, or like what are the strategies you normally take when you're online, you're looking for a specific player that you want to invest in, but their main card that they're, you know, like their famous Prism or whatever is just way too expensive, and you know, you don't have that kind of money?
Yeah, I mean, the best one probably go after that would be like his second year, like had something serial, like numbered, like where it's like the 25 or 50, then that would probably be maybe even the same or a little bit less than what the rookie is, just because of the short print. You know what I mean? Like that's probably where I'd go with that.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea, especially because, you know, if it's serial numbered, there's only so many of them in the world that there ever will be. And, you know, second year is still pretty cool. Like right now, if I could get a second year Jordan, I'd be like super happy.
Oh yeah, I mean that's big money. Collectability wise, I mean I want one. You know what I mean? Like that's like the LeBron. Like I want a LeBron. You have one. I want a Jordan. You know what I mean? And like those are like the goal as a collector, to take like one player and just snowball to like a LeBron or a Jordan or whatever.
Exactly. So have you thought about getting any more into like vintage cards? Like, you know, we're talking Jordans right now, but you know, like for example, like the Kareem Abdul-Jabbars, or you know, back when he was Lou Alcindor. Have you thought about getting into any cards like that, or are you just going to try to stay in what's, you know, easily affordable that you can continue to buy and flip?
As time goes, that's definitely something I want to kind of reinvest in. You know what I mean? Because like the older stuff, that's like in stone. It's only going to get better. You know what I mean? Like it's gold. It's going to be worth more, just like gold is. So like it's basically the same thing. I'll take my profits after I hit a certain mark in my collection where I'm like, all right, like not time to put some, you know, back in the you know, in the bank or whatever. You know, that'd be like the vintage, where that's basically like the gold, where anybody would want it. Like it's a true collector. It would sell quick and make good money.
Can you give me your opinions on when's the right time to sell? Like how, you know, like for example, during this playoff run, whenever, you know, I sold my Joker silver rookie and you sold that rookie RPA of Jamal Murray. Like, how did you know that, you know, this is the time to cash in on Jamal Murray?
Hype, you know what I mean? Like, look at the ceiling of that season. And that's basically like a step ladder. Like, okay, so I got the Luka rookie. Next year it's going to be a step. And then he's going to take the next step. You know what I mean? Like, where do I see his game? And the more steps I keep going, the longer I'll hold it. You know what I mean? Like, because if he's still going, he's still getting better. Those are those long-term investments. But like certain other players, or if it's like one of those like offsets, you know, like the Chronicles or the Illusions or stuff like that, definitely cash in for that and then go buy his rookie maybe in the off season, or you know what I mean, maybe right then if you can get a good midnight snipe. You know what I mean? I've done that countless times. Did that with my Tatum. I sold my Tatum PSA 10 and basically bought a disco Prism.
Yeah, that thing is sick.
Like if I can get a 9 or a 10 out of that, like that was a super score. Like I bought that for $120, sold it for $300. I'm pretty sure it was $300, and then turned that into a Tatum, which could be worth $1,000. And that's only going to keep growing too, because Tatum's another one of those guys. You know? Yeah,
definitely. He's one that right now, I'm pretty sure I've sold all of his rookies because I didn't really deem them to be PSA 10 worthy. And like, if I don't deem it to be a PSA 10, I'm thinking, okay, my eye is not as good as somebody who's grading it at PSA. So if I'm thinking it's probably a PSA 9, it's probably an 8. You know what I mean? That's the way I think, because I'm not like, you know, a professional or something like that. So I always give myself like one grade down just to be safe, which I probably shouldn't be that harsh on myself, but I try to really only send the best of stuff. But that's one card that I definitely want to get before the season starts back up is a Tatum rookie. The one I'm really looking at though is his select, just the base concourse select. I've been finding those like just over $100 right now. I know I can get optic a little under $100, like maybe in like the $80 to $90 range if I get lucky. But there's just something about the scarcity of select being a, you know, a hobby only set where, you know, Joe Blow can't just go to Walmart and buy them out and end up with like 20 of Jason Tatum select cards. You know what I mean? You actually have to invest some money into a hobby box, and hobby boxes are expensive. And if you're buying into breaks to get, like, say, the Celtics that year, which he was the number 3 overall pick and he had a lot of hype around him, it was probably a pretty expensive team. I would say the Celtics that year would have been probably equivalent to like the Grizzlies of this year in breaks. Like I would say most of the hype would have probably been surrounding like him and Lonzo.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, depending on what the draft class goes, man, this can go insane, especially on the secondary market. But I agree. I definitely like the select. I have a lot of select. Like if I can't get that Prism and I find that select at like a really, really decent price, I'm grabbing the select. It's second best. But like you said, hobby makes it that population where it's like, okay, now I own one of, say, 5,000 PSA 10.
Exactly.
Or, you know, if it's way lower, like, okay, I got the best out of 200. Yeah. So now turn serial. Now it's even more rare than, say, like, you know, another one that's way more of a print.
Yeah, I actually just picked up a few selects recently of some guys from this class that just passed. I picked up a Ja Morant and a Tyler Hero just because I know that going into next season, they're going to take that jump. Like you saw Luke and Trey make the jump. Luka made a huge jump, you know, coming into this season from last. But my thing is, while their prices are down, you know what I mean? Both of them just got huge spikes. Like Tyler Hero's stuff is outrageous still, but I got it at the lower end because I sold off a lot of my Tyler Hero stuff. You know, I didn't have any Tyler Hero Prism because I didn't buy in heat for any of the Prism breaks I did. I didn't find any Prism retail at all. You know, I had some, I actually probably still have some like lower end, like Donruss hoops, that kind of stuff, just sitting in one of my boxes downstairs. Because what I did was I took a bunch of lower end rookies that like I thought were just like crappy cards. And rather than just lotting them up, I stuck them in a box, like a 400 card box that holds 400 cards. And I just jam packed it with a whole bunch of like, you know, like the Maionis or, you know, like scrubbish type players like the Tremont Waters. I'm not saying that they're scrubs, but like they're players that I don't expect to be like, you know, the next big thing. And I just threw all them into a box, and hopefully, you know, a couple years from now, I'll be pulling out the next Kawhi or the next Giannis or, you know, someone else that would just pop from, you know, the Joker. What was he, like the 41st overall pick or something like that? You know, like no one was like, if you were pulling a Nikola Jokic out of your pack that year, I guarantee you were like, dang, I just got skunked in this pack. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of hoping some of those cards will end up turning into the next one of those guys. And, you know, hopefully in a couple of years, I'll go through and find at least one or two people that would be worth pulling out. Like at the beginning of this year, even, dude, I was going into card stores and I was pulling out Bam Adebayo Prism rookies out of the dollar bin. And during the playoffs, dude, I was selling them for $50, $60 all day raw. And they weren't even like in really good, pristine condition or anything like that. And it's like a whole bunch of just bargain bin stuff where you go in $1.50, something like that. Like you'd be surprised what people don't value at the time. And then how long's it been since they've actually looked through it or checked it? You can find some real gems and stuff like that.
That's how you really make the money, though. You know what I mean? Like how you sold off Tyler Hero. I stockpiled.
Yeah, definitely.
I didn't have a lot of his Prism, or I think I had one of his Prism. Either I had one or I had none, but I had tons of Mosaic. I had Select, tricolors.
Mhm.
So I have basically the whole kit and caboodle like for that
Mhm.
dude. So if he gets anywhere close to Luka's hype next year, like say he wins a title, I'm just saying, say he wins a title, I would probably sell him. You know what I mean? Because like that title run, beating say a LeBron or somebody like that, because of what happened this year, they go back and have a rematch and he wins, but he's actually scoring 30, 40 points.
Yeah.
That might be his peak, because maybe I don't see him as a LeBron long term. You know what I mean? Like maybe I see a hole in his game defensively or whatever. So it depends, man. Like when to really sell like that.
So in your opinion, and this is only your opinion, who would you say out of maybe the last two NBA drafts are long-term holds? Like maybe just one or two guys per draft.
I'll give you three. Out of the last two, I'd say Luka. I would say Ja. Definitely like Ja. Glad I picked up a lot of his prisms and stuff. Some ungraded. Tyler Hero. I think those three dudes are, I mean, now this, Tyler Hero probably depends on his growth for this year, though. Like, if he really takes a close to Luka's step and he's really dominant, long-term hold.
Yeah.
But if he has, like, another, like, he does a little bit better, nah. I'm selling at his if he wins the championship.
Yeah, I don't blame you there. And those are three of the guys that, like, I'm really big on, too, long-term. Like, my Luka, I don't plan to sell at all. I'm hoping that Luka is going to turn into like something for my family in the future. You know what I mean? That's how I'm looking at it. This is just a gold bar, and I'm just waiting on the price of gold to raise, in the future sometime. Like it'd be essentially like my opinion on Luka is so high right now that I don't want to say he's like the Michael Jordan or the LeBron of like the next generation, but I think he's going to be upper caliber, NBA Hall of Fame type player one day. Will he ever be in the GOAT conversation? I don't think so. Like, I don't think he's like the next LeBron James or any of that stuff, but I think he's going to be an excellent Hall of Fame caliber player by the time it's all said and done.
Yeah, if you had to put like, LeBron, Michael, then a step down, but it's like real close.
Yeah.
That's where like Luka, I think ceiling is like, it's like the next layer under that.
Yeah. Like, I don't even know that I'd even give him Kobe status. You know what I mean? But I would definitely give him like above Pippen status.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Definitely somebody who's capable to like lead a team to a championship by himself.
He's that piece just like LeBron kind of is. Their games are basically identical in a way. You know what I mean? Like, they're passing, being able to make other players better. Yeah. I think that's something that puts him in the GOAT-ish category.
Definitely. There's one thing LeBron did that Michael Jordan could never do. Bring a championship to Cleveland. Who would have thought that would have ever been something that happened? A championship in the city of Cleveland. But LeBron James did it for my Cavs.
I'm going to say this. He might be better than Jordan just for the fact that he brought a championship to such a bad team.
Dude, and like, to be real, before he went to, like, a lot of people say he had to go to Miami to learn to win, which he learned a lot in Miami, and I'm going to give Miami its due credit, but they never really put a team around him the way Miami put a team around him his first go around in Cleveland. You know what I mean? So, like, I feel like if they would have been like, hey, Chris Bosh, come over here. Hey, Carmelo Anthony or whoever, come over here and let's build this team in Cleveland. Like, LeBron ain't going to leave Cleveland. Like, he came back to Cleveland after South Beach. You know what I mean? Like, so I feel like the first time he didn't get a fair shake. Once they realized that he would bounce, take his talents elsewhere, they came correct with it.
It's like it was a bet or something like that. He's like, I bet I win if I had these players. He's like, no, you wouldn't. And goes back to Cleveland and says, like, told you so, and then shows them what they need. Like, bring these type of players to me in Cleveland and we'll win here. And that's kind of what happened. You know what I mean? Like, they got Kyrie, like, what, second pick, third pick, something like that one year? Or was he the first pick?
He actually was the first pick, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 2011, first pick. Yep.
So they basically tanked because LeBron is a huge part of that team. He's an amazing player. So he leaves. They turn into like the Cleveland Browns of the NFL. Well, I guess maybe not this year. They're winning some games, but they got killed by us. You know what I mean? Like, it basically makes that type of team. So, I mean, you add that piece who we've seen what he could do in Cleveland with LeBron. Yeah. And then you add shooters and rebounding, and boom, you got championships. It's a complete great setup.
Yeah. I definitely agree. What made you want to start your own business? And because I know you have a job and I know you make really good money, you get good benefits. Boss sucks, but
Yeah.
But like, what made you decide like, hey, you know what, I'm screwed. I'm just gonna go out and I'm gonna start my own business, and eventually one day I'm gonna say, hey, Mr. Burns, you can take this job and shove it.
Basically, just to be my own boss, man. Like, who's gonna work harder for you than you? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You know, we talk about like my name and everything, like Everyday Im Hustlin. Like, it would be like that if I went full time. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like I have, you know, real good business sense because of my dad and stuff like that. So, like, I kind of was brought up with that. You know what I mean? So, I just feel like I know most of the time what the key ingredient is to get a business kind of turned around or jump started. So,
that's one thing I've noticed about you, man, is like, not only do you have like the hustle factor, but you have like it's almost like your brain's like a microprocessor. You know what I mean? Like, just the way that you logistically break things down is pretty awesome from, you know, just from somebody who's like worked alongside you, not only for, you know, YouTube purposes, but in business and stuff that we've done as well too. Like, just to see the way your mind works for business. Did you pick that up watching your dad, or is that just like the way your mind's always been?
through grade school and everything, like math was always my favorite subject, to be honest. I don't know if that has something to do with that. Just like numbers.
Opposites must attract, because math made me want to slit my wrists in school.
Like, we would take a math test or whatever. I'd always be like the first one done. Like, I used to just fly through it. I'm like, my teacher's like, take your time. I'm like, I know this. And I would score real good on the test and stuff. So I don't know. I just really, I guess, understand math where like maybe like reading I don't enjoy. You know what I mean? Like literally like reading a book or something like that. Just like it just does. It's like, yeah, it does, I don't like that personally. So
I know how you feel about your graphs and your charts.
yeah, I like the occasional graph. But
the occasional.
it's like a different way of like looking at different things. You know what I mean? They're doing that with basketball, not with the threes. And not saying it's a winning combination, but that's the way sports is going as well. Like, and with analytics and stuff. So it's crazy. I mean, look what the Oakland Athletics did in that one movie, Moneyball. Like, that was a great situation where he just took analytics of like the cheap players and made a great team. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah. Dude, I would love that, to like have the opportunity to like be a GM or something like that. I don't know if you saw it, but I don't know if it's like on NBA TV or something like that. They have this thing, GM School or something like that. It's like this contestant show you can go on and like learn to be a GM in the NBA or something like that. Like, the more I play 2K, I just think, man, like, how much would I love to just be like Kobe Altman, hit the road, I'm managing the Cavs. Like, we're bringing a championship back to Cleveland. And you know how I know how to bring one? Because we got 6 of them where I live.
You would definitely want your team to be competitive and win. So it's almost like a GM or a card collector, same thing. You find like the gems don't get the shine that you think they should, and boom, they're the next star on your team or starter. So it's very similar, honestly. And I mean, you watch everybody anyway. How awesome that to do for a job. And like,
that's the thing I like about collecting cards is you're almost like scouting talent. You know what I mean? Like, I've talked to a lot of people that do baseball heavy, and like, I like the Pirates. Do I watch every Pirate game? No. Do I watch it if it's on and I'm free? Yes. But you know what I mean? Like, football and basketball, it's like I will watch every single football game, every single basketball game. So for me, like, being able to go into the bargain bin and find that Bam Adebayo and sell it for $50, it was like, that's awesome. You know what I mean? Like, and knowing the talent, you know what I mean? Like, just watching the playoffs, you know what I mean? You and I watched a lot of games together this past year, and just like watching some players play that really the only other time I'd heard of them was on 2K, and actually get to see them in person and seeing that they're, hey, this guy's better than like, you know, a 73 overall. He's actually a pretty awesome player. Like, I should probably pick up one of his cards.
It's amazing, man. I just really enjoy it. I love that feeling, like you said, like $1.50. Like, that's awesome. Like, that's the goal we all want as collectors, like to be able to, and it's almost like reselling too. Like, you know, we're looking at cards that people don't value.
Exactly.
We try to predict the value. I mean, it's kind of like reselling. We just kind of pick the price so we kind of can get for it, or we do our comps.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. I mean, because essentially, if you're going to a yard sale or a flea market or something like that, you're buying junk that somebody else didn't want. If you're going to a thrift store, you're getting something that somebody just gave away because it was trash to them. You know what I mean? And you're able to make tons of money doing it. And it's the same thing with cards, because there's going to be a lot of people that just don't value certain things. And you might think, oh man, this guy's a bum. Like, why would I even want that? Like, for example, like, I was low key creeping on your eBay store the other day, and I saw you had a Danny Farber card. And First thing that popped in my mind is who the heck would want to buy a Danny Farmer autographed card? And then you know what I said? I said, damn, I think I would like to buy a Danny Farmer autograph card. You know what? I actually know Danny Farmer, dude. Like whenever I was a ball boy for the Steelers, whenever I was a teenager, he was on the team. What was he drafted in like 2000 maybe? I think I was a ball boy rookie the same year. He was a
2000.
Yeah, same year he was a rookie in the NFL. Yep, I got to see him get hazed along with Plexico Burris.
Oh wow, dude, that would have been awesome being a ball boy and working for the Steelers and stuff like that. Like,
dude, it was awesome, bro. Like, because I was already a diehard fan growing up, and before they had their practice facility, they used to go to St. Margaret's for. And if you guys aren't from Pittsburgh, you probably don't know where St. Margaret's is, but it's a hospital where the Steelers doctor like resides. That's where his office is and everything. They used to do their physical therapy there. My mom's been working in physical therapy at that hospital longer than I've been alive. So my whole life as a kid, you know what I mean? I could go like see my mom at work and be like, hey, meet Jack Ham. You know what I mean? It's like, who's Jack Ham? And then like, you know, like getting to learn this like heritage of like who players are. Like I met Mark Bruner that way and a lot of players that way. And she became to be friends with the trainer of the Steelers, a guy named John Norwig. And, you know, he said, well, why don't you have your son send a letter and I'll put in a good word for him and see if we can't get him to be a ball boy. And, you know, I did. And it was like, dude, it was next level cool. Like the sidelines you see behind me, I'd be like down there every single game, dude, like getting to know players.
That's awesome, dude. Pittsburgh sports, amazing. We won, yep. I'm pretty sure, like everything, like not baseball. Baseball, we got far in the playoffs, but like football, we won championships, hockey. So that was like the most competitive like years of like Pittsburgh sports right there when you're being ball boys.
You know what sucks? Like my last year as a ball boy was 2003. They drafted Big Ben in 2004. So the last rookie that I was there for was Troy Polamalu.
Do you think how many autographs you can have right now? Like,
dude, the crazy thing is like I wasn't even that big of a collector back then. Like I would constantly get a whole bunch of people a bunch of different autographs, but I wouldn't keep very much for myself. I think the only thing I still have that I kept for myself is I have a game used football that's autographed by Jerome Bettis. They played the Buccaneers, and he had like 142 yards rushing that game. And, you know, it was one of the game balls, and he signed it for me. So it was kind of cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, it was definitely one of the best times of my life, man, especially being a like diehard, you know, Steelers fan and everything like that. So I was super pumped about that.
I think the only thing that I remember as a kid was Pirate games used to be able to run on the field after the games or whatever.
Yeah, like run the bases and stuff.
Yeah, like that was like the closest thing I got because you could come out in the field, they shake your hand and line up and stuff like that. So like that was as close I ever got to anybody.
Dude, my favorite like Pittsburgh sports like memory though of all time, I wasn't even a part of. So me and my wife, when we first started dating, we were working at Giant Eagle, which again, for you guys that aren't from Pittsburgh, it's a grocery chain. And she was talking to somebody that we went to high school with or something like that. And she was talking about she was dating. And they're like, oh, you're dating Anthony Cylinder, blah, 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 blah. So they were just talking about me. And out of nowhere, this dude approaches her and said, did you say you're dating Anthony Cylinder? And she's like, yeah. And he goes, well, do me a favor. Tell him Hines Ward says hi. And like, dude, I popped so hard like that years later, Hines Ward knew who the heck I was by my name. You know what I mean? Like, I thought I was just some chubby ball boy. You know what I mean? Like, but like, dude, like remembered who the heck I was like years later. I thought that was super cool. So, dude, tell me a little bit about like how your life was like growing up. Like, what was your upbringing like? I know you're from the Sixth Deuce. Were you always in the Sixth Deuce, born and raised?
Yeah, I was born and raised in Manessa, man. Went to school and went to college and then came back.
You were a football player, right? You played guard?
Yeah. Oh, no, I was tackle in high school and then I moved to guard in college.
What was that like, dude? Like playing college football, man. Like that's something I always wanted to do, but like an idiot, I chose to go in an art school instead of, you know what I mean? Like any kind of school that could legitimately help me in the future.
It was almost like working a job in a way. Like, you know what I mean? You know, you're on scholarship, so like you got a lot of like working out and stuff like that, like in the mornings, then you go to class, and then you got like, you know, lunch, and then one more class, and I think it was 3 classes and lunch, and then, you know what I mean? Like, now you're going to practice and you're going to study for tests, and then you just rewind. So it was like, and then for us, they had study hall was mandatory for freshmen. So it was like, you know, it was tough, man. So I don't know if that kind of where I had my my work ethic started, because like my day was kind of like it is now. Like I'm up, you know, 18 hours, 20 hours a day, 4 hours sleep. And trying to get as much done as I can. I guess that's where it started, I guess.
What exactly does your dad do for business? And what are some of the values that he ingrained in you that you want to see transferred from you into your children now that you're teaching them about your business and what you do?
He has a bakery supply company. So he sells other bakeries, pizza shops, schools, things like that. And basically, like, my kids, like, man, this stuff doesn't come easy. Like, say I turn into a millionaire, like, you know, knock on wood, hopefully that happens. You know what I mean? Like, just because I got millions of dollars and I hand you some money, and that doesn't mean you don't work. So I want to instill that work. You know what I mean? Like, you got to hustle, you got to work, you got to find a skill or a craft or whatever that you can to maybe succeed in life, become professional, you know, in music or sports or whatever. You know what I mean? Doctor.
Have any of your kids voiced wanting to do what you do?
My oldest always says like he wants to play football like I did and stuff like that. But he always likes the reselling side of things, like going shopping and everything. So I think he might a little bit. My youngest, he seems like he's like a clone to me. So you never know. Like he's like me to like a T, like to everything I did as a kid and everything. So he'd probably be definitely one.
So you're in for a treat then.
Yeah, I mean, got employees now. See, I'm growing. I'm expanding. I mean, just to be able to spend time and work and, you know, do something we both love, or something they love to do with me and spend time. Like, that's awesome. You know what I mean? Like, and it teaches them that they can stand up on their own 2 feet. You know what I mean? The coronavirus hits. What are you going to do? You got to figure something out. You got to eat. You got to pay bills. Like, so you start selling cards because there's a card shortage or whatever. I mean, you know, there's always something that you can do to make money. You don't have to, oh, the world is me. It's there. But trust me, because that's what I'm doing to help add money to my situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's what I think a lot of people don't understand is like the side hustle aspect of life. Like there's money everywhere. You know what I mean? Like I've said it before, like whenever we were doing e-com and beyond, but for me, like going into a store or a thrift store or a flea market, it's almost like the Terminator when he's going around and he's identifying different people, if they're threats or not. For me, it's like, oh, dang, that hat over there, I can sell for $30. You know what I mean? That pair of shoes, that's like a $50 pair of shoes right there. You know what I mean? Oh, that NCAA 14? You know, these video games that are useless, that are sports games, not NCAA 14. If you find that out there, like, you know, there's some very valuable things that are mixed in with junk everywhere that people undervalue, like we were talking about earlier. And that's the great thing about reselling and doing what we do, is that literally we can go out and make money doing just about anything. We can go anywhere and find a way to make some kind of money, and there's really no excuse. And that's the thing that you just mentioned that I totally agree with. Like, because for me, like, one of the big things for me that I got into reselling full time is because I didn't want to be somebody that collected, you know, disability, because I wasn't able to hold down a job, like a full-time job, because of, you know, the differences that I have with my back, my hips, you know, problems I have from wrestling. So for me to be able to go out there and create my own destiny and, you know, like work as much as I want or as little as I want.
Definitely. I mean, you know, you can make your own destiny. You know what I mean? You want to be a millionaire? You want to have employees? You can have that. You just gotta, you know, have a goal, have a map, understand what you can do, and, you know, or if you just want to, you know, sell 50 things a month and now your rent's paid, or now, you know, you got a car payment, boom, like that's how you do it. You know what I mean? So you can live as modest or as big time as you want. You can live like a professional athlete if you hustle like it. You know what I mean? So,
and that's the crazy thing, is because not everybody needs to be like a big corporation or a big business. You know, some people, like, you might pay off your car payment. Hey, that's huge. If you can pay your car payment doing something you enjoy, going to like flea markets or yard sales, or even just buying and selling cards because you enjoy cards. Like for me, like I love cards. So the thrill of not only hunting for cards, but finding them cheap to flip higher is even better.
Yeah, I think like playing sports like I did through school and stuff, like kind of me prospecting these players and these cards, it kind of like helped, you know what I mean? Because like I know what coaches were looking for and other players look for, so I kind of look at the same thing. So it definitely helps.
All right, guys, but I really appreciate you being around for the very first podcast of Pickin Brains. I want to thank my buddy Nate, Everyday Im Hustlin, for being here with me. One of my best buddies out there. Do me a favor, go check out his YouTube channel. He puts out some of the best content on YouTube, and I don't just say that because he's my friend, and I don't just say that because I happen to be a part of some of that content, but I say that because he is genuinely an awesome dude, and I think that you should check him out as well. Nate, do you have anything coming out on the channel that you want to showcase or plug?
One big surprise, I won't mention that until it happens. Just check it out, and definitely another video with yours truly going to be in there. So Picksburgh will be with me on a video, but I got something big coming up on the channel. It's gonna be really cool. First time probably seen something like this, something, you know what I mean? So it'll be something special.
Nice. I'm looking forward to seeing what that is, man. It'll definitely be awesome. But guys, do me a favor. If you haven't already, click that like button. Also, go ahead and subscribe because I am on the road to 2,000 subscribers. And when we hit 2,000, we're doing a little slabs or cash. That's right. Whoever, it's going to be a two-part thing. So there's going to be two winners because I'm going to have 2,000 subscribers. So we're going to have one winner from Instagram, one winner from YouTube. And you can have your choice. Would you rather have my graded cards or my cold hard cash? So that's coming at 2,000 subscribers. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're tuning in. And guys, do me a favor. Let me know how you like this podcast. Give me some feedback. I'd really appreciate it. And until the next time, guys, I really hope you take it easy and may God bless.